darkness where it's too black to see, trying to find the one that I could never reach, stumbling like a blind man that's lost his cane. Since you left me, baby, I've been blinded by the pain. Reaching out with no chance of touching, searching where there's nothing to find, listening when there's lonely silence. I can't get you off my mind.
Reaching Out, sung by Colorado, a country band whose music reaches out from one of the most remote spots in mainland Britain. Their hometown, and still their base after 5 years of international success, is Golspie in the county of Sutherland. It's 90 minutes drive beyond Inverness, the capital of the Scottish Highlands, and is further from London than Milan in northern Italy. Sutherland is a sparsely populated area, with a scattering of small towns along its eastern coastline. The county newspaper, the Northern Times, is published in Golspie. The editor, chief reporter and photographer is Jimmy Henderson.
It's a very well-knit Highland town, in actual fact. It only has a population of about 2,000. It's mainly a tourist centre, but it is the administrative headquarters of Sutherland County as well. It's a good commercial centre, one long main street of about a mile, a lang tune, but a very lively place, and of course straddling the A9.
The A9 is the main road which snakes through the Highlands, and it's down this road that Colorado travel on their way to venues all over the world. They've performed in the Middle East, appeared before an audience of 30,000 in Budapest in Hungary, and they've played at the very home of country music, the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. The leader of the band, Geordie Jack, remembers their reception there.
Amazing. Because of our Celtic origin, I think people welcomed us as something slightly different. And although we couldn't hear the difference, I think they must have done, because we were invited back and it was certainly successful anyway. The response to a Scottish band playing country music, I would have thought would have been really strange, but they seem to accept that country music is worldwide. I do know that being country folk, we've got a grassroots feel for music, and country music is very much a people's music anyway. It's pretty basic. It's a form of folk music.
Since folk music comes from the people who work the land, it's perhaps fitting that another band member, guitarist Gordon Davidson, is a crofter, a subsistence farmer. When he's not on tour with Colorado, he's busy working his small holding a few miles from Golspie, tending his 100 sheep with his dog Mandy.
Mandy, here. Mandy, down. Stay.
There's always early mornings, so you get up there, you're always in the field by 5 or 6 o'clock. You have a check over and you look out, it's on a slight hill, and when I look out I can see the sun rising out over the sea, and just in the foreground you can see the Dornoch golf course, Royal Dornoch, which is world famous. The sun rises up over that. It's a lovely part of the morning, that. Just the sheep, my dog and myself, and I just stand and watch it and think, this is home, this is great. The morning before I go, I always take a last look round and think, well, you know, in a few hours' time I'm going to be up in an aeroplane and be away somewhere. You get onto a big stage, it's hectic, the adrenaline's running. The comparison is just tranquility to adrenaline flowing very highly.
That contrast between the quiet solitude of the land and the razzmatazz of the international country music circuit was at its sharpest when Colorado played the Grand Ole Opry.
When we went on, the front of the stage was just lined with people taking camera shots of us, which didn't happen for other artists. I think it was such a novelty that a Scottish band were there that the Americans just loved it. I never ever thought that we would do half of what we've done, but let alone, I still find it hard to believe that we've actually done the Opry.
You come from a part of Scotland which was depopulated in the last century. A lot of people went over to America and settled there and took with them Scottish songs. Do you feel that in any way there's been a bridge, a crossover between yourself here, taking songs back to America now?
Oh, definitely. Well, a lot of the bluegrass type of music, you can hear a relationship between that and the old Scottish type music, and a lot of the folk and blues stuff that is done in the States now all comes back to this area.
Colorado maintained that historic connection with the United States by playing country music. They're not the only ones, they're simply the best. There are country music clubs the length and breadth of Scotland, and country music disc jockeys on the BBC's domestic network, Radio Scotland, attract huge audiences. The best known is Noel Cannon.
Hello everybody, this is your old Carolina buddy Noel Cannon drifting along a bit early to remind you all that come Saturday evening at 7:30 here on Radio Scotland, the Nashville Express will be getting underway. We'll be chatting with...
Originally from Carolina, Noel Cannon was once voted the world's top country disc jockey. He's now based in the city of Aberdeen, where he's well placed to observe the country music scene in Scotland.
Till then, this is me reminding you that no matter where you may go or what you may do, now you keep it country. Because if you ain't country, old friend, you just ain't about to remain the least bit cool. Bye, y'all. It's people music, and I don't think Scotland's got the hang-ups that other areas have regarding it. They're more willing to accept it, aside from which it originated from Scotland and the northeast of England. That's where country music came from. It's just that people are recognizing the roots of the music as being very, very close to home. For instance, the Orcadian fiddle, and you play Cajun music, and you'll hear definite links between Orkney and the Louisiana bayous.
That mingling of influences described by Noel Cannon has its explanation in the history of the north of Scotland. For centuries, people left this area seeking a better way of life in other countries. And in the last century, thousands of people were forced from their homes by landlords who wanted to run large, profitable sheep farms. These dispossessed Highlanders took their music with them to the United States and Canada. And in 1985, it's claimed that similarities of style and sound can still be heard. Noel Cannon compared Cajun music with Orkney fiddle music. So first, some elegant fiddle playing from the Orkney Islands off the north coast of Scotland, followed by a rousing Cajun tune from Louisiana. The style is certainly different, but it's claimed the musical links are there. It's not surprising, then, that Colorado in their repertoire include a Cajun song, their tribute to the music of the bayou. Cajun music, Highland style. But newspaper editor Jimmy Henderson believes there's also something in the character of the Highland people which makes them particularly susceptible to country music.
The people here tend to be introverted. They're not terribly expressive and wildly articulate, and they get out a lot of their own emotions sometimes through this type of music because, you know, there's so many very good ballads, some good melodies, and also some strong overlying emotions, and country western music is the vehicle for it.
I have held you, girl, but you ain't never made me feel so good before. Love me some more. And I have kissed you, girl, but your lips ain't never tasted quite so sweet and warm. Sweet and warm. you, girl. But I ain't never really loved you from the heart. But tonight I'm gonna start. Oh, with every touch you're painting pretty pictures with your hands, creating precious feelings that my body understands. I can almost hear the music playing somewhere soft and low. I have loved you, girl, but not like this before.
But it's also the kind of society in the Highlands which breeds country music. In this area of scattered towns and villages, the local dance is for everybody, from children to grandparents. The bands who play at these dances have to be versatile, playing the latest pop number 1 minute, traditional Scottish songs the next. And if people want country music, then you play country. Colorado's leader Geordie Jack says that's how they became a country band.
We were playing locally, not as a country band, but just as the type of band that can survive in a rural area like this. We played every type of music. We were taking requests for country songs and playing them until we eventually had a country repertoire. So, you know, we never by design became a country band. But having arrived at that situation, we found that we couldn't gauge ourselves against any other bands because not too many bands travelled up as far as Golspie. And the idea to enter a talent competition down in Inverness seemed a good way to hear a lot of other bands. But to avoid the embarrassment, it was 70 miles away, and it was much further than we'd ever travelled. We decided we would change our name and go incognito. So on the night when everything was over, we were quite happy to pack up and go away. In fact, some of the members were going to go away before the end of the night because we didn't expect to win. But as things turned out, we did win, and having changed the name to Colorado, of course, we forgot to tell everybody in the band that that was the situation. So the bass player sat at the side applauding the winners, Colorado, and everybody was looking at him wondering, you know, why he was applauding himself.
Soon it was more than just the band members who were applauding. With a newly found name taken at random from a map of the United States, their triumph in Inverness took them to another contest at Wembley in London, where they became Best British Country Band of the Year. They've since won the same accolade from the British Country Music Association 4 times in a row, and they've picked up awards from country music clubs and magazines in Britain and in Europe. They've also recorded 3 albums, the last in 2 studios, one at Ardersier near Inverness, and the other in Music City itself, Nashville. Perhaps the most unusual tribute to the band was when they were made honorary citizens of Fort Worth in Texas. Noel Cannon says Colorado have been good ambassadors for British country music.
They left a very lasting impression over there and made a lot of Tennesseans and a lot of cynics in the music business in and around Music City begin to think again about Great Britain and the music that's coming out of here. It's not second rate. They've been trying to say it is for too long. Colorado proved them wrong.
Where did Colorado fit in then in the Country Music League internationally?
Internationally, I'd put them in the top 20. They would be bucking very established American bands and to a certain extent Canadian bands who've been around a very, very long time. Colorado are number 1 in Great Britain. I would place them about number 14 to 16 in the world.
While the band have earned international recognition, they insist the people of Golspie still think of them as hometown boys. Gordon Davidson, the crofter, and Geordie Jack, who runs the music shop.
We get great support from all the locals. They keep our feet firmly on the ground. I've still got to take the coal and the sticks in like everybody else, and I've got to do the chores. There's no superstar bracket in this area, and I don't think we would like it. That's what keeps us going, you know, the fact that we can come home here and just go out with the rest of the lads and have a night out. There seems to be... The locals don't really appreciate the type of thing that we do because they can't relate to it.
We're just the same as we ever were. We just go about our normal business, and nobody thinks of us as being celebrities, I don't think. They don't allow us to be celebrities, and we're quite happy not to be.
But the music and the success must have changed you in some way. It must have changed your life in some way.
Certainly changed your life. Definitely changed your life in some way, but That's why I say it's good to get home and get away from that, because when you get home, you know you can just be yourself. When you're away, it's different. There's a lot of people around about you. You get home, you can be yourself, act normally, and get on with your normal business.
For the other Golspie-based member of the band, Dado Duncan, normal business is the bakery in the main street. But if local people still treat them much the same as ever, they haven't been slow to record their appreciation of Colorado's achievement in putting Golspie on the world map of country music. Jimmy Henderson has followed the band's progress in the columns of the Northern Times.
I remember when they first won the Marlborough Festival at Wembley, quite some years ago now, the local community set up an entire welcome home parade. It was almost like the football team coming home on its victory parade, because they were up on a float, the pipe band was pulled out and marched them along the street, and then we all went into a local hotel and had a good old party to congratulate them.
There's been a number of albums put out, and I think that there are more on the way. Do you see Colorado ever getting too big for Golspie?
No, I'd never think they would. And, I reckon they're pretty well home-based, and I don't think they would want to go anywhere else, quite frankly.
Perhaps the purest test of hometown popularity is continuing to play there. When I visited Golspie during the annual Gala Week, the summer festival, Colorado were performing in the school hall to a seated audience of 400, with many more standing at the back. In the front rows, children who'd just finished taking part in the Gala Sports Day called out to the band members by name. Most of Golspie seemed to be there, from the age of 2 to 82. Colorado may have played to audiences 100 times as large, but they don't relax their standards for their friends and neighbours. The band's dress is immaculate: black trousers, white jackets and black shirts. And there's no holding back in that basic ingredient of country music, emotion.
Heartaches and heartaches, teardrops on teardrops. That's all I know since you went and turned me down. Heartaches and heartaches, teardrops on teardrops. Since my baby left me in this town. Oh, heartaches and heartaches, teardrops on teardrops. That's all I know since you went and turned me down. Heartaches and heartaches, teardrops on teardrops. Since my baby left me in this town. Ladies and gentlemen, Colorado!
A warm reception from holiday visitors and local people alike, especially since most of the audience have heard the band many times before.
Colorado always go down well in Golspie to locals and visitors. They always get a big welcome on stage. And tonight was no exception, as you know yourself, that you've been in the hall. And I would just say that, once again, Colorado are the top group.
I'm Liz Sutherland Carpenter. I'm out of Texas and in Scotland. I'm crazy about them. I'd never heard of them before, although I know they're well known in this part of the world. But I walked into a pub yesterday, and they were playing as part of the Golspie Gala, and it would turn me on. I feel like I'm watching the Beatles in the making. They could be right at home in Austin, Texas, or Nashville, Tennessee, and Austin is kind of the second Nashville now. We're going to be having the International Games of the Scots next year in November. I'd love to see Colorado come down there.
What is it about them, do you think, that is that extra ingredient which could make them really big?
Humor, a kind of down-homeness. They're not inaccessible. You feel like they're with home folks, and you can reach out to them, and it's not so precious like some of the prima donnas get. It's very natural, warm.
So you think they could go on from here?
Oh, gosh, I think I'm going to write everybody I know about them, and I think they've got a great future out there.
If there is a tension between Colorado and Golspie, it's caused by the cost of maintaining and running a top country band from a remote part of Scotland. By Golspie standards, booking Colorado for Gala Week is a major expense. But Geordie Jack, the band leader, says it isn't making him wealthy.
Country music is people's music, and it comes with the same price tag. We're not out to charge colossal fees. We want to play, we enjoy playing, and we want to do it at a level that people can afford. So unless we get great volumes of people turning up and the demand is such that we can no longer cope with smaller venues, then I can't really see us making a great fortune out of it.
So you don't have a Rolls Royce or a Mercedes parked around the back that we haven't seen?
No, but, you know, any kind of transport that gets me from A to B keeps me happy.
In fact, the financial rewards haven't been as high as they should have been. Colorado lost the profits from one record deal when a management company collapsed. They've also come through disaster of a different kind, which would have finished many bands. Founder member Davy Duff lost his sight after a combination of diabetes and kidney failure. Now retired from the band, he recalls the terrifying night during a severe winter snowstorm when he was offered the chance of a life-saving kidney transplant hundreds of miles away in the city of Aberdeen.
It was a really wild, rough night. Halfway down between Golspie and Inverness, we heard coming over the ambulance radio the roads were blocked, whatnot. There would be a helicopter waiting for us in Inverness. I thought, oh, great. I often fancied a ride in a helicopter, you know. My God, it was frightening, I'll tell you. It took us an hour and 35 minutes to do a 20-minute journey. It really was quite frightening. But, well, it's all worth it. Like, you know, I wouldn't be here today if not.
Who was the more scared, your wife or yourself?
Well, I would say my wife. I was the lucky one. I wasn't seeing what was going on, like, you know. I believe we near crash landed on takeoff, but I didn't see that, like, you know. But, as I say, well worth it, man, well worth it.
He's now Colorado's elder statesman, and the band turned to him for advice. David Duff isn't overawed by other bands, other countries, other cities. To him, even Nashville, the home of country music, wasn't out of the ordinary.
On arriving there, obviously some great excitement, you know, Nashville, magic, you know, it's just another city like anywhere else. I mean, it could be Inverness, could be Glasgow. The only thing that's different really is the accent.
Colorado's accent has always been on hard work and trying to make it to the top, as Noel Cannon testifies.
They got out there and they made the gigs, they traveled through the night, and they played good music. They kept their band tensions or whatever, their family problems, whatever, off the stage. They went out and entertained the public. They gave the public what they wanted to hear. Good music, tight harmonies, a clean presentation, always a tidy band. That's how they did it, on time, every time, and they reaped the rewards.
But Colorado find themselves at a crossroads. To make it really big, they need a hit single, which will appeal to audiences inside and outside country music. And Noel Cannon warns that continuing with the grind of one-night stands, the length and breadth of Britain, will take its toll.
Pure economics is going to kill them unless they get out of the United Kingdom for at least 2 years. They must go to the United States or Canada or anywhere where they can be heard anew, recharge their batteries, and let the people not forget so much about them, but begin to develop a longing to hear them again.
The members of Colorado are facing their hardest ever decision, whether to stay in Golspie or to leave their hometown. At the moment, they enjoy the best of both worlds, but it's the world outside Golspie which offers them the chance of lasting international fame and fortune.
We're striving for that kind of success in part, but we still, and always will, recognize that it can only come as long as we hold on to our basic roots, and they are built around this area. People say, you know, why do you not move to London rather than staying north of Inverness? It'd be much more central. But if you're away for 3 weeks, after you do your first night, it doesn't really matter where you come from because you're on tour anyhow. So it's only the first date and the last date that matter as far as travel's concerned.
Prices were quite high, and the more success you had, the harder it was, because you're not allowed to have an off night. You've got to be as on the record, 100%. So it was good to get back to Golspie, wind down and mix in with your mates and everybody, and you were like, you know, super.
And do the mates still feel the same way about the band members, or do they think that perhaps they've become celebrities, they've become stars in some way?
Oh no, I don't think so, no. They're still Gordy from up the road, Geordie down the street, just the same. Well, I think so anyway. I would hate to think otherwise. I thought, if I thought I'd changed in any way, I would like somebody to give me a good kick up the rear end, like, you know.
You need a release from the band. And it's great to come back home and get the freedom of the craft and the quietness.
Doesn't that tend to draw you away from the band and make you feel that perhaps you don't want to go back on the road again?
There are times when, if work's pressing, you think, oh, I could do with some more time at home. But there again, once you're away and you get nice response from the audience, you do interesting festivals, see a lot of different places, a lot of different countries. I think it's a great advantage to get away as well.
When they're on the roads of the world, Colorado are far removed from the peace and quiet of the small highland town where they can be themselves, where they're regarded as local Golspie boys playing in a band. No matter what lies ahead, Geordie Jack doesn't want to lose that.
I don't know. People seem to think that we should take on a sort of a new attitude and treat ourselves in some superstar way. But no, we're what we always were, and I think if we lost that, we'd lose everything. So we're hell-bent on being just the local boys getting on with it.
My cloud.